It was a sex scandal that rocked the Valley, the local Mormon church, the community. The story of Susan Brock, wife of Maricopa County Supervisor Fulton Brock. She was a mom in her 40s, sexually abusing a 14-year-old boy. Her daughter accused of abusing the same boy. So what happened to that boy, who seems to have disappeared from his Chandler community? Linda Williams has the story.
14, the age of skateboards, school books, Friday night lights, high school football. But for one teenage boy, the victim of Susan Brock, it was an adolescence interrupted, or some would say stolen. Now 17, that teenager Brock molested has left Arizona. He left in January to attend a specialized program out of state.
He's in a school out of state right now that specializes in dealing with children who have problems, in particular children who are the victims of sexual abuse.
Tim Eckstein is the teen's attorney. He says the young man has dealt with, continues to deal with, serious issues stemming from the abuse.
Absolutely. Trauma in all kinds of ways.
He says part of the challenge for the teen is some people don't view him as a victim. Eckstein has heard that firsthand from people
who have said things, to the extent of how is he a victim, how is he harmed, I should have been so lucky when I was a teenager, remarks from men that clearly don't appreciate the gravity of the situation.
Scottsdale clinical psychologist Erin Nelson.
Absolutely, there is a stereotype that this is the luckiest guy in the world,
which Dr. Nelson says makes it even more confusing for the victim.
Our sort of social stereotype is that this should be something he's happy about, when he's not, because he's a victim of sexual assault. That adds another layer of confusion. What's wrong with me? Why do I feel this is awful?
In April, Susan Brock is back in court after agreeing to a plea deal. We indirectly hear from her victim in a letter Eckstein reads to the court. The boy says in part, Susan's abuse has caused me to miss so much of life. He says, I am in an inescapable depression. During that same hearing, a shocking scenario unfolds of an older woman, a family friend of the boy's family, 48-year-old Susan Brock, the wife of Maricopa County Supervisor Fulton Brock. Evidence presented that she targeted and groomed the boy for sexual abuse from the time he was 11 years old.
Susan would often give this boy back and shoulder rubs after having sort of brought him lunch.
In court, the evidence stacked up on a table. Some of the gifts Brock had given the teen: a stereo, cell phone, video games, paintball equipment, expensive T-shirts. The sexual relationship began when he was 14 years old and lasted 3 years, until Brock was arrested in October of last year. By that time, she was even arranging sexual trysts for the boy and his girlfriend. Then, in December, another bomb drops in an already explosive case.
As the case unfolded even further, the arrest of Rachel Brock even added to the level of stress and anxiety.
Rachel Brock, the 21-year-old daughter of Susan, was arrested and charged with 7 counts of sexual conduct with a minor. That minor, the same teenage boy her mother was accused of molesting. The crude jokes may have escalated in some circles, but the damage could be profound for any teenage boy, says Dr. Nelson.
With how they view themselves, and women, certainly, in cases like this where there's a female offender, trust of women and of authority, to be sure, can be severely interrupted.
I would like to publicly apologize to the victim and his family for the pain that I've inflicted on them.
Brock, sentenced to 13 years in prison. Her daughter Rachel, now 22, remains behind bars, facing counts of sexual conduct with a minor. As for their victim,
there's no way I think he would say that he's okay at this point. Like I said, it's with every person, the reaction is going to be different, the treatment's going to be different, the care is going to be different, and you just sort of take it on a day-to-day, week-to-week, month-to-month basis.
Eckstein says his client is focusing on healing now. He expects to finish high school and then go on to college. The abuse marred his teenage years, but those around him are doing all they can to make sure it doesn't ruin the rest of his life. I'm Linda Williams, Fox 10 News.
Get myfoxphoenix.com on your iPhone free at the App Store and stay connected.